Hey everybody, Motorport 59 here. I wasn't even going to comment on the school shooting in Texas. I didn't comment on it on my Facebook or my Instagram, and I'm not going to. I don't want to politicize this, even though the left already have. We knew that was coming. There's nothing new about that. I am not one of those people who likes to offer platitudes. Whatever I have to say on Facebook or Instagram, most likely no one who was involved or had anything to do with the aftermath of that shooting is ever going to see what I have to say. It's just going to be a few people on my news feed on Facebook and the first few people who see my Instagram today, and I don't know. What I do want to say about it, though, is that our mental health care system is broken, very severely broken. We talk about the healthcare system being broken, and it is. But I'm not going to get into the whole healthcare thing right now. We have to do something about our mental health, and especially where younger people are concerned, because they don't have the tools, the emotional tools, to deal with the things that some of them are going through. Obviously, I know nothing about this kid. I know nothing about any of the kids that have been involved in any of these things other than what I have seen in the news. And what's that? These kids are disturbed. They have problems. You don't just walk into a school and start shooting people because you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. These are issues that people around these children should have seen coming. And I am saying children because I don't care if you're 16, 17, or 18. You're still a child. I look back at my life. I didn't have my head out of my butt until I was in my mid to late 20s before I finally started looking at the world in a realistic manner. And we want to be realistic about ourselves or about our children or our grandchildren. We have to be realistic about the fact that they don't possess the emotional tools to deal with problems, especially if there's no one there to point them out. And it's not the job of our schools to do that. It's the job of these kids' parents, of these kids' families. Parents are so afraid that their kids aren't going to like them if they discipline. If they tell them that what they're doing is wrong, they're afraid they're going to act out. Well, they're going to act out anyway. And you know what? I can remember times when I wished that my mom and my dad and my stepdad, at one time or another, when I wish they'd all got hit by a damn bus. But that's just because I was being a selfish, self-centered kid. And the things they were doing were in my best interest. And we have so many parents out there now who are afraid to do that. They forget that they aren't their kids' buddies. They are their authority figures. And they have to take charge of their kids' lives when they're young, so when their kids start getting old, they understand authority. Or we end up with issues like we had during the summer of 2020 with people burning down cities and tearing things up just because they could. Smash and grabs. That's what happens when parents don't take charge. Where the schools are concerned, in defense of the schools who don't seem to want to say anything, no matter how strange the behavior of a child these days, especially in high school, but in all school really, is that modern society has created an environment within the school system, especially the public school system, where the schools, the administrators, the teachers, anybody in these schools, they're afraid to say anything. It doesn't matter what a kid does. It doesn't matter how strange his behavior is or hers. They don't say anything because they're afraid they're going to get sued. They're afraid that they'll get sued personally, or the school will be answerable to something. And to that I say, let them sue. We have to start protecting our children. We have to start concerning ourselves with the safety of the children as a whole and stop worrying so much about the feelings of a child as an individual. In particular, we have to stop doing that. How long are we going to, as Americans, allow the small, vast minority of people to determine what happens with our country, with our schools, with our children, with our workplaces. How long are we going to keep doing that? We're adults, we're grown-ups. We don't answer to children. I'm not saying we ought to beat them and lock them in their bedrooms and stuff, but we have to take charge. We have to be authority figures, or these children are going to go through school not understanding what's the difference between right and wrong. And that's when things start getting screwed up. Or maybe, and in the defense of some of those kids, they come from very, very screwed up households and home lives. Can we do anything about that? Probably not. But it seems to me that most of these kids that have done this over the years have been troubled. I'm talking about kids getting bullied. And what do? We do all the wrong things. We enact laws that make bullying illegal. You know what? Murder's illegal. Drunk driving's illegal. There are a lot of things that are legal that have never gone away, and they never will go away. I've always said the best way to deal with a bully is to punch him in the mouth or hit him over the head with a stick. Let him know that every time he messes with you, he's going to have to go through this, and you'll stop getting bullied. We have to stop being afraid of our children as a nation and as parents. I never had to lay a hand on any of my kids. They just always knew I was serious when I said I wanted something done, or when I didn't want something done. And parents are so afraid. I know parents personally who were so afraid, as I said, that their kids were going to be mad at them. Of course they're going to get mad at you. It doesn't matter. You can kiss their butt all you want. You're still going to make decisions that are going to piss them off. And that's just the way the relationship between a parent and a child works. Like I said, I used to get mad at my parents all the time. And I had an awesome relationship with my parents. I loved the households I grew up in. I had a mom and a dad, and they got divorced, and I had a mom and my stepdad, and my dad and my stepmom, and I loved all of them, and I still do. I was always reminded that I didn't run things. Like my stepdad used to say, you don't run anything around here but your mouth, so just do what you're told, and everything will be just fine. And it was. We have to take charge, and we have to stop politicizing this kind of stuff, right or left. We cannot afford to politicize this, because when we politicize these things, the issues get lost in the cracks of the platform for each party. We need to stop making these issues political. If we had stopped making them political back in Columbine, if we would have taken the issues seriously with these kids and started paying more attention to how kids were behaving in school, and if things didn't seem quite right, the parents, the siblings, the friends, this last kid made all kinds, according to what I read, made all kinds, there were a lot of signs that something was wrong, but no one said anything. No one said anything. The behavior that this kid was exhibiting wasn't normal, but no one said anything. Because, hey, we don't want to disturb his individuality. We don't want to upset him. We don't want to offend him. We don't want to make his parents mad. And what did he do? He shot his grandmother. We have to take charge again. And we have to stop being afraid of the consequences. Because look at the consequences we are suffering for not taking charge. These are the wages of parental and authority laziness and fear. We have to stop being like that. We've got to take charge. Right, left, Democrat, black, white, purple, polka dot, it doesn't matter. We have to start taking charge again of our children. We have to pay attention to them. Stop coming home from work and sniveling about how tired you are and leaving your kid to video games and unknown. My parents always knew who my friends were. I didn't hang out with strangers. My parents wanted to know where I was. They wanted to know what I was doing. We didn't have cell phones back then. Today it would be so much easier, but parents, well, they don't want to infringe on their kids' privacy. I didn't have any privacy when I was a kid that wasn't given to me by my parents. I didn't have any rights as a kid that weren't given to me by my parents. They saw to my best interest. They raised me and my sister very well. And today, we're both productive members of society. Well, we're both retired now, but we were productive members of society. And I never thought once, I can't remember ever feeling offended or mistreated by my parents. Now, I know that's not true for every kid. Like I said, can we stop the domestic issues in some of these homes? No, we can't. But people that are on the periphery of that can help. They can help. They can speak out. Hey, man, I'm just a guy that worked for the railroad. I don't have all the answers. But I know that what we're doing right now, or more specifically what we're not doing right now, isn't the answer. It's not working. Things are still going sideways. And our society is trying to make it a right or left thing. And it's not a right or left thing. It's a death thing. It's a dead thing. It's a killing thing. And that's how it needs to be looked at, not as a political football. That's all I got to say about that. I'll see you all later.